right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream, youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live, and facebook.com/DDOunlimited. I got my Facebook problem sorted out. I had to uninstall and reinstall the extension in XSplit, in case you were curious. That's why I couldn't get onto Facebook. They had changed something up and locked out the previous version. So anyway, I'm here today and I'm on all three and I'm glad to be here. Last week I was on the money, just kind of showing off some stuff. Today I am going to be on Kyber, having some fun, doing White Plume Mountain with my level 30 character here. My old Armagh character, Fighter 20, Pure Fighter. Sword and board in it. Hope everyone's having a good time. I appreciate you being here. I will be happy to answer your questions. On the plus side, we came up early. We had a big downtime having to do with like database maintenance today, and initially they had put the window as potentially as late as 2 p.m. But thankfully we were able to get things taken care of between what, about 10:30ish? We were up for DDO. And so that was pretty nice to be able to get up early and get the game reopened to everybody. The one thing that's maybe not quite so nice, but is okay, is that we were hoping to do a patch today as well. But unfortunately, just kind of due to a series of unfortunate events having to do with trying to get a build roped into shape to go live with patch 2, didn't get it done in time. So that's been pushed out until, let's say, most likely next week that we're going to do Update 39 Patch 2. What'll be in Update 39 Patch 2, it'll be the same stuff that you saw last week on the Mania. That includes, like, say, the melee survivability changes, Barbarian DR changes, Druid War Paint, a bunch of bug fixes, and things like that. So that's coming, and probably next week. I mean, stay tuned. It all depends on how things go. But that's what I would expect, is it'll be next week sometime. Hello everyone over on Facebook. I am on Kyber. Yeah, I'm kind of done giving away DDO points on the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. I give them out to people in game, so that's kind of how I handle it. But I don't know, I kind of have to be careful about not giving away too many points. And so that's kind of what's up with that. But I give away a lot of points, to be honest. So my side of the stream seems to be pixelated for me. Well, let me check my settings here. I am actually streaming in 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames a second, so it could be you might want to lower it to 720. I'm trying out the 1920 by 1080 to see if things can handle it. Ultimately, if I hear negative feedback, I will do something else. Alright. Recovered from Gen Con? I am. It took me a while. It was really this past weekend before I got my sea legs back under me again, and I was just like, okay, life is normal again. I can actually lawns mowed, dishes done, laundry done. I actually have a chance to sleep late for a change and recuperate a little bit from the long couple of weekends of Gen Con and what have you, so no. There we go. Yes, these servers are back up now. And this was just maintenance. Like I said, it had to do with some required database maintenance. They were, at the server center, they were doing some powering down of things and powering up. I think it was related to a vendor that's not us, but it necessitated us being down as well. I think, something like that. So yes, you can log into DDO. Just curious, would DDO support ray tracing? I don't actually know what ray tracing is. That's not something that's familiar to me. Please, the broken order quarterstaff, can you leave it so you can hold a shield at the same time? It is a two-handed weapon. I don't know. If they change it to like a scepter with that look, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Oh, ray traces rendering? Okay, yeah. I don't know how Ray's got all that time to trace things. I mean, I guess, you know, the guy's a good multitasker, but... Oh, well, it is a broken staff. Good point. Good point. Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of trying to decide if I mean, I'm willing to up difficulty outside of Legendary Normal, but probably not if it's just me going solo on White Plume Mountain. I have to admit, I'm not super techie on some of the modern GPU what have yous. So there we go. I've got a Garrett. Welcome. It's true. You know, that's the one thing. When I play my epics, I tend to have less participation on the live stream just because it involves everyone having to have a epic level character on that server, and that isn't always the case. So, will the other DR systems be changed to match the new Barbarian DR system? At this time, no. Perhaps that's something we can look at in the future, but that is specifically a Barbarian change here for update 39. Patch 2. I think someone's saying on the war paint for Druid Bears, make it look like kind of graffiti or what have you, and instead change it up. That's something we could maybe do in the future. What you saw last week on Lamania is what we're going to be going live with for war paint. That's what we have approved and what have you. But, you know, who knows what the future will hold. Okay, the bonus this weekend. Crafting plus 35%. Crafting XP 35%. Both are recently most requested and one of our most hated bonuses. I think it depends a lot as to whether or not you are into your Caneth crafting. If you're into Caneth crafting, it's a great weekend. If you don't like Caneth crafting, then it doesn't offer you that much. But nonetheless, 35% Caneth crafting XP kicks off tomorrow, and we'll get going. All right, why don't we go in on... Let's see, what levels do we got? 30 and 30. Why don't we do hard, huh? But it's funny though, because when we don't do crafting XP boost as much as we do other boosts, in part because it is a little polarizing. But recently I've had a whole bunch of like requests like, oh, can you please bring back the crafting XP? It's been so long, you know. So yeah, we're doing that, and that's hopefully something you'll dig. And if you don't dig it, well, there's always next week. You know, I really love that we were able to bring this. In White Plume Mountain here, the classic poem from Caraptus, or not even poem, but kind of clue or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if you happen to catch last Sunday's live stream, Streaming with Even on DDO Stream, but I ran with Even and Bonnie Bew. Bonnie Bew is getting ready to do Shroud-a-Palooza, date to be announced, but it'll most likely be something along the lines of probably November-ish. And that is running Heroic Shroud on every server. And it's going to be live streamed, as much of it as can be live streamed, schedule-wise or what have you. It's going to be on DDO Stream. So, if you want to run Heroic Shroud with a lot of fun people, and do some cool things. Stay tuned for more information from Bonnie Bew on that one, because that's going to be quite rad.
A regal creature waits for you in the water here. It meets your gaze with eyes.
But yeah, we were flagging for Heroic Shroud on Argo, and I only got about halfway flagged, but I have a character already that's flagged for it, so I'm fine.
Please approach.
Sarlona's screwed? I don't think so. Surely there are people who are flagged for Heroic Shroud on Sarlona. If not, you got a couple months. You got time for this. You can do it. I believe in you. Anyway, it's going to be a really fun time. It's an awesome group of people that are running this thing. Bonnie Bew is super funny if you don't know who she is.
This passage is framed in metal. There's a faint crackle of electricity.
I'll tell you, one of the things I had to do this weekend is
It's hard to say how strong the current is or how it might affect you.
install Windows. I had to completely wipe my drives on my home computer, my main home computer, so I had to do the full hard drive wipe and reinstall. Ugh. You know what? I'm going to try something here. Actually, I don't think I've got the Reezy Ice Skates with me. Let me double check, see if I do. One of my characters is going to have the Reezy Ice Skates, and I don't think they're currently on sale here. Fine, I'll just do it this way.
A narrow, winding path leads over a drop into beds of spikes and whirling blades. The path seems to be slick.
Anyway, so the reason I bring that up... Ah! Come on! You can do it! I can do it! No! Fine. I didn't want to go there anyway. Eek! 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 Nope. Bruh. You know, I do have that hireling. Maybe I should have gotten said hireling out. The reason I bring it up, though, is because I chose to reinstall both DDO and Lotro. Complete fresh install from scratch. In part because my DDO client had the old Turbine exe, and that's since been, you know, deprecated and all that sort of thing, so it made sense to just completely... don't forget Wizbot Stone here, down here, too, if you would. Dazia, if you can get Wizbot Stone down here, too. Clearly, you've got the reflex save. So it was interesting. I kind of used a holistic chance whenever I have an opportunity to do something like that. I try, especially on like a complete fresh hard drive and all that. Yeah. Are you not able to? Oh yeah, there we go. Nice, very nicely done. Thank you. Let me get out that hireling. It's a good opportunity to kind of audit the installation process for DDO. And I have to say that unlike the last time I had done my complete hard drive on a new computer, which was about a year-ish ago, it installed just fine. I had no DirectX issues, and I just, even though my computer is DX12 only, and it just booted up right away. So, but I would still remind people that if you run into an issue where, particularly if you first install DDO, you get to the launcher, you click launch like to the server and it just kind of blanks out and doesn't do anything, the culprit for that is probably DirectX. So you can run the DirectX runtime to solve that particular issue. And you can just get that from the Microsoft website or whatever however you want to do it. If that's a little too complicated for you, you can get in touch with tech support, but it's really pretty easy. You just go to a web page, click a button, and it does all the work for you. But I didn't have to. Like I say, I was actually a little surprised because I just have DX12 and it installed only. I know that our engineers had done some work to incorporate checking DX in the launcher at some point. It sounds like that worked out pretty well because, like I said, I at least had no problems whatsoever. So that was kind of nice. Our download links worked. There was still one minor turbine reference in the kind of create account section when you're first installing the game, but that's something we know about and we're going to be fixing in the near future. Otherwise, like I said, everything went pretty much just great, so it was nice. Both for DDO and Lotro. Now, I could have, if I wanted to save myself a download, just have, before I had wiped the drive, I could have just put the 11-ish gig DDO installation on a USB stick or something like that, just plugged it in and copy-pasted it. But like I say, when I'm doing this kind of thing, there's some benefit to me professionally to just kind of do a top-to-bottom audit as to how this stuff works, and so that's why I did the full shebang on the reinstall and what have you. So.
You burst out of the water and find an ambush.
Are we not doing this? Okay, that's fine. All right. That DM queue is a little early, isn't it? Oh, speaking of DM queues, geez, I wonder if I can get that done here in just a second. I had something exciting happen. So, inside of the office here, we're doing a bit of a movement around. If you recall, what, about a year and a half ago when we first started Standing Stone Games, we are essentially subleased a former section of the old Turbine office. You know, they with the splitting of SSG and everything else, they kind of had a lot of empty space, and so we installed a wall to, you know, corporate barriers and all that sort of thing, to put us separate. And so it is our own space, but we were subleasing essentially out of the old Warner Brothers briefly because they were, I don't know if they were stuck in a lease or what happened, but whatever reason, they had the lease through the summer. So now that that time period has ended, we're in a position where they're consolidating their office into kind of one section of the office complex where our office is, and then we are officially taking over this space as, you know, the lead landlord, or the lead leaser, or lessor rather, from the office complex landlord. So what that's going to mean, though, is that some of us are changing our desks. You know, the DDO team is being moved to a slightly different... They're being moved over a little bit because the building is going to be putting up a wall and basically opening up the space to another lessor in the future. So it gives us an opportunity to, say, finally kind of repaint, put in all our artwork, maybe get some new desks and furniture, and just really kind of do some things that, you know, have been a long time coming. And so a lot of us here in the office are pretty excited about it. Now, it does involve, like, changing power and getting a whole new office Wi-Fi and et cetera, so it's a little bit of a hassle, but it's not too bad, all said and done. And we're all really looking forward to it. But as part of that effort,
as you touch the crest, it fades away.
We're moving out a bunch of the old kind of like internal hard drives. There's like a server room for like kind of internal builds and things like that. And as part of that, they were clearing out all this kind of equipment that back when we first separated into Standing Stone Games, we just sort of shoved in a room and said we'll deal with it later, and then never dealt with it. So I was tasked with going through somewhere around 30 hard drives that were the old marketing, art, and SVT hard drives for the game, both Locher and DDO. and it allowed me to do some archaeological digging to finally sort of put together some notes of what's on this drive, what's on this drive, what's on this drive. And the reason I'm bringing all this up and kind of very slowly getting to the point is that I found some awesome early 2004 to 2006 era DDO stuff. I found original screenshots for Mod 1 way back in 2006. I found the original voice-over recording sessions with the OG DM for like Chanticleer and Whiz King, all the desert stuff. All this just like raw, just like take one, you know, I served in the last war, that kind of thing. I found the original recording sessions of that stuff, and I'm going to play it here on the stream here. It shut up at some point, probably even today, and just give you a taste of some of that stuff that I found. I also found, one of the things I'm really excited to have found is I found a high-res version of the DDO intro version. You know, when it's on the DDO client, it's been converted into, I think what's called a BINC video, which is, you know, kind of a weird sort of video format that's used in a lot of video games and what have you. But it's called BINC. I found the raw, original, like, 4.6 gigabyte version AVI file of that time. So what that means, with no logos, so what that means is perhaps I can finally take that file, you know, put the proper 2018 legal logos on it that we have to do to put something like that on YouTube, and then get a nice high-res version of the intro movie on YouTube. And that's pretty cool as well. I also found some old marketing videos from like E3 2004, 2005, and all sorts of cool stuff that I'll be rolling out here to the extent I can get away with it on the stream here in the coming weeks. I did find some soundtrack files, but not a lot. I was hoping to find sort of the mother lode of music, but unfortunately I did not find that. I did find a few things, but not sort of a easily accessible version of all that old stuff, for example. So I'm hoping to still find that somewhere, because I do have some more work to do. And like I say, it is an SVT diary, sound and video technology. But so far, no luck on the music there. Ooh, nice. This is my first filigree I found in White Plume Mountain here. Plus 10 healing amp, can't go wrong with that. Very nice. This thing is just dizzifying. Is Key Shout ever going to be fixed? That one is not particularly familiar to me. Well, I don't know. I don't play monks much, so I don't actually know what the problem is with Key Shout. But let me know. Maybe I can look into it. Vomit Tunnel. It is. You're not wrong.
Pulsing magical barriers hold the boiling water of the mountain at bay. The enchanted walls sway with the water. The walls don't look very sturdy, so best be careful.
Key Shout uses the Intimidate score right now instead of Concentration. Okay. That sounds like a fairly easy fix to me. That sounds like something I could force Lunabelle to perhaps fix at some point here. I'm actually real quick going to grab that into a notepad so I remind myself to ask about it. Can vet status and iconic characters start with at least 20k plat to buy comps and things of that nature? It's a thought. But, I don't know, you can get 20k plat by just doing a little questing. Or, you know, just pass it for an alt. It's something like that.
Scalding hot water
If you've got vet status 10, you probably have a character with 20k flat sitting around.
releasing even more scalding water.
Pac-Man in the office. That was always so infamous. I remember there's a, you know, on the...
Being boiled alive. The crab falls
Yeah, we
over
just say it. On the vault, they made fun of us a lot for this quote Pac-Man LARP, but it never really made any sense because that was never a DDO team thing to begin with. That was a couple of people in marketing had done that, and it was just kind of done at the end of the day one day because they had we had brought in a bunch of PlayStation Move controllers to do the jousting game. I can't remember what the name of that jousting game was that came out early in the days of the PlayStation Move. And they figured out a way, because they're programmers and stuff too, to kind of do a Pac-Man thing. And so we did kind of the marketing team, not even including me, spending after work hours a couple of days just kind of doing this fun Pac-Man thing.
Bright green
And people got wind of it, because we talked about it for fun, and started, like I say, just kind of using it as an insult against the DDO team. It's like, oh, you guys are too busy doing your Pac-Man LARP. And it was like, well, one, the DDO team didn't. They weren't even involved in it. And two, there was a couple of marketing people after hours. So, you know. But yes, I would be down for that. Over the last 3 years, we've moved around in the office at least 7 times. I know if we do tend to shift around a lot. You're not wrong there. Yeah, we have indeed kind of shifted around a lot. But this should be it for a while here.
A set of 5 patchwork creatures regard you impassively.
I'm actually looking forward to it. Me personally, I'm going to get a window. So I'm looking forward to that.
If you can pick it out, it will serve you, and the others will allow.
I'm going back in chat. I haven't been able to pay as much attention to chat, so I'm getting to some kind of older stuff here. The installer could use some love someday. I've had to help a lot of people with install update issues on Discord. Yeah, it's, you know, you're not wrong. But we are making progress. I mean, like I said, this DX thing was a real thorn in our side since Windows 10 came out. DX12 came out in particular. And although DX12 claims to be backwards compatible, it's only kind of backwards compatible. At least it's not very backwards compatible with DDO. Ah! Alright, let me see what I got. Which server was Shroudapalooza? This, on Sunday we did Argo. What we're doing is basically, well, Bonnie Bew is doing basically flagging nights on all the servers to help get a group of people flagged who might need to be flagged for the upcoming Shroudapalooza. And Sunday was Argo. Will there be a Wizard Sorcerer class pass this year still? I don't know that I would want to commit to a timeline of this year, but it is on our, let's say, relatively short-term agenda. You know, we've got Sharn to work on and a bunch of other stuff too. but working on like wizards and sorcerers in particular, I think. Well, we're going to do some Pale Masterwork, I think, too. Is on the list of things. By the way, on the list of things as well is an interview that Patrick did this week. So Patrick from DDOcast actually had an opportunity to visit the Standing Stone Games studio on Monday. He was in town doing, like going to a Red Sox game and things like that. And as part of that, he had an opportunity to stop by SSG. So we gave him a tour of the office and that, but we also sat down in this room with Sev and Torque and did an Ask the Devs. And I'm pretty sure that that question about the State of the Wizard class pass came up in that interview. I would expect that interview will air this weekend. I'm actually going to be sending Patrick the file today. I think he gets back to, you know, Seattle or wherever he's from here. Tomorrow. But hopefully we'll have the edited interview set for him at that point. And that should be the main brunt of this weekend's DDOcast. Because it was like a 45-minute interview that he got to get crunchy with both Torque and Sev. So that was some good stuff. So if you are like a DDO player that, you know, especially you might consider yourself a more hardcore player, this is going to be the interview for you. There's some really good stuff in there. I was in the room just kind of helping facilitate it, but I didn't really take part in the conversation, which is probably a good thing. Some people are just like, you talk too much. But so that'll be coming up pretty soon. Alright, so now I've got pretty much set for Twitch chat. Shoemaker says if you use the install command in the DDO Streamer DDO Wiki Discord, DDO bot will give you links to direct download DX9 and the MS redirect. Okay. With that hair, Cordo, Big Sugar says, next Movember is grade 9 all over again, baby. You're not wrong, yeah. I'm gonna have like the nice mustache. It's gonna be like 1979 all up in here. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I do plan to keep my hair long through Movember this year. That was a great comment, yeah. Do I still have the Temple of Elemental Evil module booklet here? Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we got all that stuff. You know, the one we've been reading through in the office quite a bit is, it wasn't released in hardback. It was just, released as a, PDF, but there's the new 5th edition Eberron book that just came out, put together by Keith Baker in addition to Rudy Rutenberg from Maze Arcana. They were co-authors of the new 5th edition Eberron manual, and so we've been digging through that and having a lot of fun with that. It's a really nice book if you're into Eberron, which I think a lot of us are, so I'm really looking forward to using that. We got a complimentary copy in the office, and so we've been doing that, so very cool there.
One of the wizard's magic mouths confirms your victory as you enter the treasure chamber.
Well played. I concede this round to you, adventurers. I'm forced to.
We need jousting in DDO? Oh, I think that would be kind of fun.
I confess, there's something to be said for the occasional setback.
Wrath of Flame doesn't do me any good, but that's okay.
So much sweeter.
Samus, I'm doing some bag work for pre-TR and wondering if we could have some kind of way to group the XP rocks from daily gold dice, just combine the smaller ones into larger stones. So, it isn't actually intended that you just sort of stock up on those daily dice XP things, then TR and get yourself a couple of levels. I mean, we don't have a big issue with it, but it isn't exactly something we're going to want to encourage either. So the idea of further allowing you to consolidate your XP dice to store more of it is unlikely to be something we are going to support. I mean, it's fine if you want to do it, but like I say, it's not something that we formally support. There's also, I think, some case to be made that we should be careful how much of that we allow you to do. I am getting to YouTube comments eventually here too. I know sometimes the YouTubians feel like I'm ignoring them a little bit because I have a hard time keeping track of all 3 tracks here, but I will be getting to your stuff here in just a little bit. All right. Yeah, clearly I've got some inventory work to do on this guy. I haven't played him since White Plume Mountain came out. Archmage needs plenty of work. Yeah, probably. I would assume Archmage is going to be a fairly significant focus of that tree work. What is coming up that I can talk about? Well, on Gen Con here, you'll know that we announced Sharn, we announced Tiefling, and I can also say that, you know, so pre-production work is underway right now related to Sharn. A lot of the artists, and there's even a little bit of dungeon building and dungeon space building more than dungeon building going on right now. But we do have other things that we're doing up to and including Night Revels work. We have at least a couple of new Night Revels dungeons that'll be coming here. We have... I don't know if we've actually said it yet, so I better not say something. We have some more stuff that'll be coming along or with the Night Revels time frame. We have kind of working on a free dungeon for late in the year, kind of a, you know, our typical sort of in December we tend to do something along the lines of a free dungeon here. All right, let's do kind of a big deal. So that'll be happening, and then after that'll be, you know, Anniversary in Sharn. So that's really what we're working on right now, is those who are not working on pre-production on Sharn are working on Night Revel stuff.
Nimue's tower. The Nimue casts a spell to send you to the nearby village.
I also need to update my gear on this character. Yeah. Is there a way to invest and become a shareholder with Standing Stone Games? No. We are privately held.
You appear near the outskirts of the village.
Psionics this year, this lifetime, nothing in the works. I would not say never on Psionics. There is interest in doing it. I just don't know when or if that's going to happen.
Foolish kobolds. Couldn't fight them. They live in a cave near Idle. Please make sure they don't defile the artifact.
I've noticed every time there's a bonus to XP per party member, the LFMs are actually low-key booming. Maybe we need, at the very least, a permanent 1% XP boost per party member to incentivize. That's something that comes up periodically. What we've found in the past, because remember, it used to be pretty rare to do just world property XP bonuses as well, and then we incorporated them into just the weekly bonus system that we have. And what we found by doing that is that it kind of took the wind out of its sails. People enjoy it, but it doesn't bring people to log in the way that it used to. So, at least for now, we like the party bonus being not all the time thing, because we do see some positive kind of people logging in and things like that for it, in a way that's good for players, good for grouping, and good for business. And we would probably at least partially lose that if it was a permanent bonus. And I know some people would say, no, you won't, but we do have historic precedent that it does. How about Kieran pet companions? That'd be cool. I love this quest.
You
Super hyped about the coming main bar? Yeah, it's gonna be good. Speaking of Sharn, do we have a rough price range? Oh, I mean, we haven't even begun discussions on price. Although I would, if I were a betting person, I'd say similar to what we've done in recent years here with Standing Stone games. So there'll be a low base price, a mid-tier price, and then kind of a ultimate edition sort of thing. Is Nobob working on Night Revels stuff? I don't know if Nobob is working on Night Revels Dungeon or if he's actually working on Sharn. I can't remember. Now, I saw him working on something, but I can't remember what that was now. We check YouTube now. Do you guys sometimes DDO minimize recently after Windows 10 1803 update? DDO just sometimes minimizes. I have not had that experience, and I am running the latest Windows 10. I wonder if you're playing full screen or windowed, perhaps, and if there might be something to do with prioritization of that. Like, because I know in Windows 10, if I do, is it Shift-Enter, Control-Enter? And it basically goes to the desktop. Maybe there's something along those lines that's happening with your build of Windows 10, and if you're in full screen, perhaps. But, or maybe it's just something that I'm just not experiencing. So, yearly PC rig cleansing, nice. So what happened is I actually picked up during the Steam summer sale. I picked up one of these Steam. What are they called? Steam, not a Steam box, but like a Steam link, a Steam link. It's kind of like a Chromecast sort of ish thing, where you hook it up to your television and it streams content from your computer to your TV. I regret to inform people, and I would like to warn people, that by doing so, it completely screwed up all the audio drivers on my computer. And I have a lot of audio drivers because I do a lot of voice work and recording and streaming and things like that. It took my AT2020 USB Plus microphone and turned it into a Steam streaming microphone and the Windows properties, which would be fine if it worked. But it didn't work. I couldn't actually get any audio to come into the computer through it. I tried plugging the mic into a computer at work and it worked just fine. So it wasn't a mic problem, it was simply a USB or a driver problem where it took the generic USB plug-and-play USB microphone drivers from Windows and completely borked them. So I thought I could just kind of do a restore but save the data, which I had done first, and that didn't solve the problem. I thought I could uninstall the driver and reinstall, and that didn't solve the problem. Because what ended up happening is it had actually put a corrupt DLL into my System32 drivers. So while I may not have had to completely start from scratch like this, I felt that I had to, and it did solve the problem for me. So that's why I did the full reboot this weekend, is because I had some major driver issues on my computer, which otherwise rocks. I love this computer. I got it about a year ago, and it's super fast and super awesome. But man, was it frustrating. So I'm not here to criticize other products, but I will say I do not think I will be turning on that Steam Link anymore. Because I don't want it to happen again. Don't think the ice skates make a difference? Okay, cool. Good to know. Any technical quality of life improvement plan by the end of 2018? Yes. Let me make you do some work that you're not going to want to do. Because I can't really confirm that it's going to happen yet, but there may be things that are happening over on the Lotro side that we can import to the DDO side. So if you, by any chance, were to read the most recent patch notes for Lotro, you might get some sense of what could perhaps be coming in DDO. D&D night this weekend. Thank you, Kevin, over on YouTube. Kevin Melka. D&D night, Annabelle's Curse, Sunday, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be bringing the pen and paper tabletop group back to DDO stream. And one of the things I'm actually working to do, I'm coordinating with Kevin and Patrick and, you know, some other folks to do a regular tabletop D&D night every Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern on DDO stream. Now, it is pen and paper rather than DDO, but enough of us are pen and paper peeps or want to do, say, DDO Dungeons and pen and paper or what have you, that it makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of corporate synergy between tabletop pen and paper and DDO stream, and I think it's just kind of a cool thing to do. Tabletop pen and paper streaming is kind of hot right now, and I want to get in on that action for DDO stream, kind of help us out and give people some cool things to watch. So that comes back on Sunday, 7 to 10-ish p.m. Eastern. In addition, we're looking to maybe do that more consistently here in the coming months. I don't know if Crystal Cove is coming back for Talk Like a Pirate Day. I said next patch is not coming today, maybe next week, so my question is, who has the banana? No, that's funny. We have a plush banana that we give for the build failing. This was actually not related to a specific change list or something, but was rather, has to do with all that tech work that's going on in and around the office.
Rapture falls, squeaking a curse in your general direction.
It actually had something to do with, if I recall correctly, the Barbarian DR changes involve essentially doing an adjustment to character data on all the people it will apply to, right? It's called versioning. And it's something that we do very carefully because, of course, it has the potential, if done wrong, to really screw up your character. That would be versioned. So in this particular case, we want to really make sure that that Barbarian DR versioning doesn't cause any unintended side effects or problems. And so it needs lots of testing in order to be able to do that and things like that. So the QA team has a lot of work to do regarding that.
You feel strange. As things start to go dark, you can just make out MechTech fleeing the room.
Yes, Elizabeth Vaughn over on Facebook. I enjoyed streaming pen and paper at Gen Con, the Writers' Symposium. Indeed, I actually loved watching that. I had the opportunity to actually take part in that. Why am I stuck? Am I stuck? Uh-oh. Oh no, I'm stuck.
Oh, I've heard of this bug. Are you stuck in a wall, or behind the?
Try using the stuck command. I'm
I've
gonna
heard
grab a
that the
screenshot
stuck
of the
command
look.
does work.
Well, I guess we'll find out. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Z332. There we go, that solved it. Well, I took a loc, grabbed a screenshot of the loc, and I'll send it to No Bob here. Yeah. I was trying to catch back on chat. I'm not quite sure what there's some kind of argument happening. I don't know about preferences and such. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm sorry. Any plan to fix Todd rings for monks? No. I'm sorry. But no. I think, you know, Todd rings are so old at this point. I mean, it's what, 2009? It's almost a decade-old loot. I just really don't see us worrying too much about Todd rings. Never say never. You know, if we were to do something with Tower of Despair or the Amrath, Amrath in general, perhaps, you know, we would take a look at that. But I just really don't see that being a productive use of our time at this time.
Mektek totters, dropping his prize as he falls. The artifact.
Thank you so much, Praxis, by the way. I love your band. Praxis is a great 90s band, in case you ever heard them. One of my all-time favorites.
Nimue assures that the effects of the artifact will wear off soon. For a moment, you imagine all the amazing
Eye of the Beholder?
things you could do with the giant.
Doesn't do me any good, but maybe a future character will.
Stuck in this cave until you return to your normal size.
Oh yes, I was in multiple bands, Titan, back in the 90s and early 2000s, kind of early mid 2000s. Discussion on changing Slayer areas to XP per kill instead of all at once for a set number. Yeah, I don't really see us doing that. I mean, you're right that that's how a lot of other MMOs do it, but I don't see us doing that. Any news of the Tiefling Iconic? No, not at this point. I would say that sounds like something that might happen. But I don't know particularly about that one. You know, it's too early to really confirm that kind of thing at this point. Alright, let me see what I can find. Alright, thanks very much, you guys, for joining me. I'm going to call it at this point. I'm going to play some audio here for the last 5 minutes of the show and kind of chat with people in chat. I will get you a DDO points code in-game later on today. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Alright, here is the original DM cinematic voiceover session.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Jerry.
I served in the last war.
Later.
A soldier. Nothing fancy. I dealt in death. It was all I knew. But with the war now ended and my home destroyed, I cast my eyes to the horizon and the city of Stormreach. The bards sing of this ancient city, cradled just beyond Shargon's teeth, with tales of danger and endless riches. It called to someone like me, a warrior, a mercenary, an adventurer, a lost soul. This time fortune smiled upon me, for I have found many like myself, heroes from the far corners of the world, dealers of death, life, courage. We join together at taverns across the city and charge into the abyss, searching for the ultimate reward, setting steel and magic against impossible foes. I've fallen many times, only to be spared. And each time I wonder, will this adventure be my last? Now storms gather on the horizon. Evil rises from the waters of despair and misery. An ancient and terrible curse is upon us, and they call it Stormbringer.
At this point, there's actually some more audio here. Actually, nope, that is the one I've got on that file. Let's see, I've got just a couple minutes left. Let's see what else I can dig up here. Alright, so here is... OG file. Okay, here's actually the one I was looking for. This is mod 4.1, which would be pretty old there. Like Atarexia's. Here we go. Giant Hold Tour? No. Can I just find the raw? Yeah, Coromar to Chanticor. Here we go.
Danger Zone Caverns, Coromar 1. The beholder seethes with ancient evil. This must surely be the bane that brought about the digger's doom. Giant Hold Aurum 1. As the first gong sounds, Patrick the Maniacal curses loudly while ground shakes beneath his feet. Giant Hold Tor 1. This filthy room could only belong to slaves or perhaps prisoners. Its occupants avoid meeting your gaze, except for one who eyes you with great interest. Giant Hold Landscape 1. This frozen dragon avoided the slice of the giant's sword, but could not escape his ultimate fate. Giant Hold Prison of the Plains 1. The door before you opens. The prison of the plains is operational once more, but do any of its inmates remain? House Jarasco Chamber of Insanity 1. The silence hanging in the chilled air of this compound is broken only by the unearthly groans of the cult's forgotten sacrifices. House Jarasco Dead Shall Rise 1. The Lich's sonorous voice shakes the tower to its foundations. You dare enter my domain. Your bones will join the others in my collection. 2. The tower's summit seems forever out of reach, no matter how high you climb. House Fiarlan, Faithful Departed 1. This once served as a dining area. Now cobwebs cover everything in sight, including the room's previous inhabitants. Necropolis Shadow Crypt 1. An underwater maze within a maze. Nereza has an affinity for tricks and games. 2. A long hallway ascends before you. Pairs of brightly colored levers flank your path.
Alright, and like I say, I'm hoping to actually dig out a little bit more of that and sneak it into the live stream when I feel I can get away with it. Hope you dug that sort of thing, and now we are going to tune on over to Follow the Noob with Samus Garobo. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Also, thank you very much for watching on YouTube and Facebook as well. I'll see you next week. More questing on Kyber. We'll probably continue these White Plume Mountain Update 39 quests. Have fun all.